All right, how's it going, everybody? Today we're pretty much just going to be going over the first in many sample game kits that are going to be put up on the forums here. But today this is going to be the sample of the light version for the game framework for Elite Dangerous. Now, if some of you aren't familiar with that game, it's pretty much just a space simulation type game where you fly around space. It's kind of like a Second Life atmosphere almost. So I'll go ahead and show you guys just some of the logic that's behind everything for the light version. And then I'll show you all the parameters and what they do inside the logic. And then I'll go ahead and run through exactly what you're going to be seeing in the light version of the demo here. Now I know that with all of these free game frameworks that I'm going to be releasing, there's going to be a light version and then the full version. Now obviously the light version is going to be free and the full version is going to be paid, and all those assets are going to be put up on the asset store for my publisher page, but we'll get into that at a later date. But pretty much right now I just want to show you guys exactly what you're going to be getting with this free version, and how to tweak it for your own use. So if you want to go ahead and look right here in the ply blocks, you see we have our parameters. Like I said, we'll get into later. So our first event here is the on fixed update, which is what we'll be using when we're dealing with all the rigid bodies, right? So right here we have our controls for forward and backward, right? And all we did was we used a simple input, and we used a get key held right here. If you guys want to use the Plygame input system, you can, or if you have your own input system, like myself, you can. You could also use that. Yes, I have one. I'll probably release my custom input system to where you can rebind the keys at runtime as a separate asset, or I may include it in this and all of my projects that I'll be releasing. But yeah, you just use whatever input manager that you'd like here. So for this, it's just if we hold W, we're pretty much just going to add force to the our ship here, which is this object right here. We're going to add force to the ship itself, and then, oops, guess we didn't initialize. Okay, let's head back to the scene here. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to add force, and that's going to be in the forward direction. And then if we hold W or S, we're going to add force in the backwards direction, right? So here we'll see we have two parameters, forward force and backward force, right? So if we look at our parameters here, we see we have forward force and backward force, and these are all vector 3's, right? So if we're holding W, then we're going to move our ship with a force of 25. If we hold S and we're going backwards, we're going to move our ship at a force of negative 25. And this is pretty much just going to be how it is all throughout the project. We're going to be dealing in positive and then negative numbers for opposite directions. So that's pretty much it. I mean, here's what you have for your throttle for, moving forward and backwards. And that's it. For our thrusters here, this is pretty much what's going to move us on moving sideways and moving up and down on the y-axis, right? So Q and E is going to move us on the x-axis. R and F is going to move us on the y-axis, and W and S is going to move us on the z-axis. Okay? So same thing for all these. We're just adding just relative force here, and then we're going to add it to ourself, which is where we have the blocks for the ship. And this is going to be strafe left, strafe right, up force, down force. You see we have for left we're going negative, for right, we're going positive. For up, we're going positive. For down, we're going negative. Okay. Same thing for turning. Now, this is when we're holding A and D, right? So if we hold A, we're going to rotate ourselves, right, around the y-axis by whatever our turn left speed is, which is obviously negative 25, times the time it took to complete our last frame, right? So this is how you can kind of do a very simple override, so that way you're not running things on whatever update that you're doing. You're running it now in seconds, right? So it's a little bit more predictable. It's going to be better for people's games, so that way you're not running things at, it's going to affect people who have lower or higher frame rates. It's going to affect it at a certain degree, but not as much as if you had it on a general fixed update, late update, or a general update. So this is how we do that, how we can kind of control how fast this is going here. So we're going to move it at a turn speed of 25, right? Same thing for the turn right. That's A and D. For our roll, we are controlling our roll on the x-axis with our mouse X movement, right? And for that, we're using input, and then we're using get axis, right? And then we're looking for the actual axis of mouse X right here, and then mouse Y for our pitch. So these are the inputs that are already set up in Unity. All you have to do is just locate its name right here, which is mouse X, and then we're checking if it's been moved into the negative direction, and then here we're checking if it's been moved into the positive direction, and then we're going to just go ahead and rotate around the Z axis. Same thing for pitch. Now we're checking mouse Y, checking if it's in the negative direction or in the positive direction. Okay, and then after that, we're going to rotate it on the X axis relative to itself. And we're doing the same kind of calculation right here. Now for boosting, I would assume if you have a space game, you would like to do some sort of boost or sprint or something along those lines. So this is letting us know if we pressed caps just once, then we're going to go ahead and boost. Now there's a few checks that we have here. Okay, we're checking if we're not currently boosting, and this is a variable on our ship controller here, right, which is boost. If we're not boosting, we're going to go ahead and set boost to true, then set forward force in ourself to the boost force, right? So we're setting our forward force parameter here to the boost force, which is right here, the plus 75, right? Because we were going at 25, we want to go 75 now. Okay, then we're going to set backwards force to boost force, right, in ourself times -1. It's very simple. This is how we're going to run all of our backwards, right? So same thing here. We're just pretty much what we're doing here is we're just setting it so that way we can use one variable, which is our boost force here, to control both forward and backwards. But we're just pretty much in this block here, we're just going to convert it to a negative value so that we can move backwards even though this is a positive value. So something very simple there. Now this is going to say when we press caps and we are boosting, then we're going to go ahead and set boost to false, set forward force to what our normal force should be, right? And then the same kind of conversion, set backwards force to normal force times -1 to convert it back into our negative value, right? So this is a very, very simple framework here. It's nothing too crazy. It's using all the sample blocks, which are located under the physics category here. So a lot of cool stuff. The physics blocks right here are going to be used for the basic movement for all of the ship here, right? And we're just using the add force block right here, or here we would use the relative force. So that's that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said, this is the light version, so it's only gonna have the basic movement controls for flying around. So like I said, here's all the variables. You'll be able to see these go and whatnot when we are actually flying the ship. So let's go ahead and play here. Now these are all using assets that I've purchased here. So this is the, I think, Sci-Fi Planets from Forge 3D, and a few sound files that I've also purchased from them. And this is using the free asset, I believe, from yeah, Sci-Fi Fighter from the actual. Let me see if I could find. I'll include the asset down the location for this. But I'll go ahead and include this into the package, as I've already gotten authorization from the author of this asset to go ahead and include this model here, since it's a free asset. I've went ahead and got the green light to include this in any packages that I do for this asset. So I'll just include it in here for you guys. But not the planets, not the skybox or the sounds or anything, or the effects. Those are all things that you guys will have to put in yourself. So here we go. We'll go ahead and show you exactly what we have going on here. So as for the controls, we have the moving. Let me turn the sound off here. Okay. So we have moving forward with W, backward with S. Okay. We have moving right with E, left with R. And then we have moving up, or I'm sorry, left with Q. We're moving up with R, down with F. So up, down. Okay. And now we're pitching up with mouse Y, and we're rolling, right, with mouse X. Alright, so let's go ahead and see this in action. Okay, we're going to go ahead and land at our little landing dock right here. Let's see if we could land this thing good. There we go. Nice and landed. Hold R to lift ourselves back up. And then we go ahead and head out. And now we're going to go ahead and go to the end here, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys what it looks like with the booster here. Okay. So we're going to hold and press caps, and let me go ahead and hop into the ship here, so that way you can see that the boost is being set. So we press caps. You see that our backwards and forward force is 75. So now when we go, we obviously get propelled at a faster rate. Okay. Turn boost off by pressing caps. Move ourselves back around, and start flying again. So as you guys start messing with the kit, you'll see what kind of controls look good for you, what feels good. You'll be able to tweak these parameters to whatever you like. I put this can control bool in here just so you guys can add something. Maybe if you want to do something like, there's a trigger that you enter and it says you're in the port, right, for this space station or what have you. Then you can kind of just put an if inside of this and saying, if in port, set can control to false, right? So set it to false, and then this would say, if can control is false or true, then do this. But if it's false, then obviously we can't move, and you would just put that in obviously all your movement stuff. So it's a check I put in there. I mean, you guys can take that out if you want. It's your preference, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any ideas further for the light package, just let me know. The paid package is actually going to have combat. It's going to have AI. It's going to have a full HUD. Obviously for things like ammo, thruster speed, map location, coordinates, the whole deal. Because like I said, all these kits I'm going to be doing are going to basically as accurately as possible without getting sued. We're going to go ahead and try to emulate some of these well-known games and try and get it all working inside of blocks. So yeah, so the paid version is going to have combat, AI. It's going to have I'll probably put like a mission system in there, something along those lines. Put a full HUD system, full mini map system. yeah, I'll probably think of some more stuff as I start looking at some Star Citizen videos and Elite Dangerous videos. But um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But pretty much, you can probably see the paid version coming out. I'd probably say within maybe a few weeks. But I'll go ahead and put this on the forums, obviously, right when I'm done with this video here, so you guys will have this video along with the asset, so you can mess around with it yourself. All right. So let me know if you guys have any issues or if you have any questions on how to edit any of this stuff for your own means. And just look forward to the paid version and any other kits that I'll be releasing in the upcoming weeks. All right, have a good one.